Hey, welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Today I've got three special guests, about 650 combined transactions between themselves and their teams, getting into the nitty-gritty of what they're focusing on in the fourth quarter. This is a must-watch show. Hey, welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Excited to introduce you to three rockstar agents, legends in our ecosystem, and massive contributors both to their business, to their teams, and now to all of you. So my intention today is to ask three great agents one question. What is the most important thing you need to do in the fourth quarter to guarantee your success as the market becomes a little more normalized? So before we jump into the how, let's do some quick introductions, starting with my good friend Scott Compa. Scott, tell them who you are, where you're from, and for context, how many transactions are you doing annually?
Scott Compa from Southern New Jersey. We're going to do 250 this year.
So 250 transactions. How long in the business now?
12 years.
So people are going to hear 250, Scott, and they're going to be like, oh my, I mean, that's like, we know that, there's 43,000 that sell 25. You're doing 10 times that. I assume you have a team.
I have a team of 9 agents.
Okay, so 9 agents. So, and have you always had a team, or is that a newer thing?
About 5 years now for a team.
Okay, so congratulations. So again, good context, and again, a lot of experience from transactions. JD?
Yeah.
Fire away. Tell them who you are, where you're from, and what you guys are doing.
All right, I'm John David Leonard. I'm from Long Island, New York. Grew up in the business, so I have been doing it myself full time now for 10 years. I've taken the reins over from the family, from the parents, as they kind of, start to step back, enjoy life a little bit more and travel. And we're going to do 110 transactions this year with 4 really full-time agents.
And of the 4, how many of those are family members?
Well, I'm also kind of stepping back a little bit to do more of the operations. So it's my sister and 3 other full-time agents.
Outstanding. Do mom and dad still do some transactions?
Well,
they are legends. They've been in the business for 100 years.
So my mother is actually really an important keystone. She's the glue, if you will.
Yes.
My father, we're never going to stop him because he doesn't golf. He doesn't play tennis. He's not into football.
Yeah.
Real estate is his life.
Yes.
So he kind of comes in and he drops a deal on the table and we're like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Just keep it up, whatever.
Awesome.
Just enjoy it.
Outstanding, outstanding. And Tom Toole, tell them who you are, where you're from, transactions, a little background.
Sure. So I'm Tom Toole. We work the suburban Philadelphia market, city of Philadelphia. This year our team's going to close over 300 transactions. I got licensed when I was 19, full-time for the past 14 years, and we have 10 salespeople on our team and a rockstar support staff.
Outstanding. So we're talking about a lot of transactions and a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, right? People that I've known for a long time and watched them grow their businesses. So when I asked you guys to do this, you've been watching that, whether it's the Team Plus rants I've been doing on Facebook or the things I'm doing live, and there's definitely been a little extra edge to me. And I want to be clear for my friends that are watching, that edge is not suddenly I'm in a bad mood. It's, I remember 2007, 8, 9, 10. I certainly remember 1989, 1990, 1991, 92. So I have a different perspective and point of view when the market begins to adjust, and it's kind of a fourth quarter thing. I get a little more like it's time to plan and step up. But when the market begins to adjust, I just feel this sense of obligation to tell people the truth about what they're going to have to do, not to survive, but to thrive in a changing market, right? In the US, everyone's saying the same thing. We've had 10% appreciation annually for the last 5 years, 50% increase in home values. And what most of the economists are saying, we're going to slow down to 2 to 3%, 2 to 4% appreciation, which, be clear, when you're driving 150 miles an hour and you slow down to 70, it feels like you hit a brick wall. My intent with these guys today is to hear what are they doing in their businesses to make these adjustments mentally with their prospecting, their marketing, whatever it may be, so you can glean from some of the very best and make the adjustments early. So who'd like to go first?
I'll start. So to me, the fourth quarter is about one thing, and that is a constant commitment to prospecting and lead generation. So having a full pipeline. So if you're doing 1 hour of prospecting every day, double down and do 2. If you're doing 2, add an extra 1 to 3, and be a little more aggressive, because some of these may be longer term leads. You're not only finishing the year strong, but also setting up the following year and planting those seeds, because that's where you win, is with the long-term nurture game. So doing that every day, no matter what, and coming in prepared and ready to go, not getting ready to work for a half hour and then deciding to make calls. you're in, you're making calls, you're making it happen as soon as you show up.
So I want to go a little deeper, and I'll do this obviously with all of you guys. You and your coach created something,
Yes.
and I want to say it was called like the illusion of choice.
Yes.
Where essentially, we'll just explain it to them, because maybe some people hear prospecting and then they say, well, I got to get organized, I got to get ready, I got to get going, it's not in my schedule, what do I do? You actually created a structure for your team. So describe that, because they may want to take it on.
Sure. So being in lead flow as a team member is a big deal. Getting the new leads. A lot of people think those are the best. I would disagree on a lot of levels. That's a conversation for another time, I would say. But to be in lead flow on our team, you have to be prospecting 4 out of the 10 available sessions a week. So Tom and my coach have taught me the best times to be on the phone are between 8 to 11, 4 to 6, 5 days a week. There's your 10. You're at 40% of them. 40% is not that much.
Yep.
You have to do 2 open houses a month, track and record all your numbers so we can see who's converting the best, and then we can put those people in the right positions, and doing 2 transactions a month. Because if you're not able to do those things, you shouldn't be handling new leads, because obviously you're too busy. You can't respond to people right away. Speed to lead's a big thing right now. So if you can't handle those minimum requirements, maybe you shouldn't be talking to new people. You should focus on closing the clients you're working with. This is not like a punishment. This is, hey, let's get you to close more business. Then we can turn the hose on again, the faucet on again, and put you in a position where you can fill that pipeline back up and start selling more properties.
So let's assume, and I'd love for you guys to pipe in on this.
Sure,
too.
yeah.
Let's assume that the vast majority of people watching, they don't have the lead flow. They're not Google, Zillow, Trulia, Facebook, whatever. Maybe they're not doing that. They've got their database, or they're thinking about some other things. What lead sources would you guys recommend that someone watching right now in their marketplace, what should they go after?
Database leads are number one. I mean, that is the best way. These people know, like, and trust you, so you're not having to go through that harder conversion, the harder interview. So that would be the one thing anyone can work right now, and there's people out there that you know that are going to be buying and selling real estate.
Yep.
Our family's always been really strong with expireds, and they went away for a few years. Fortunately, we utilize Zillow a lot in online leads, so that's taken the place.
Yep.
We still want to utilize online leads, but we're going to have an opportunity to go back to having more expireds as the market, as you said, kind of returns to some normalcy. We're excited about that. One of the things that we're doing with those agents on our team, because they're getting nervous as they feel the changes, but we're getting them excited about the changes because we have the skill set. So I would focus a lot on expireds as well as the people that the sphere of influence, as Tom was saying.
Yeah. Scott, what about yourself?
I would go after, I would say, for sale by owners, because less houses are going to sell. It's going to be a lot harder for them to sell.
Yeah.
And they want to sell. And I would say as a bonus, you have probate leads.
Yes.
They really need to sell the home.
So I love it, because we got basically now 4 or 5 different ways. So the thing that I want to say to everybody watching is, Tommy's saying you got to over-index on your lead generation, right? And in your marketplace, you should maybe speak to this. If you're not making the calls today, you're not getting paid in November, December, January. Like it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So Jamie, what's your point?
So one of my key takeaways is, we've always been in a place where attorneys have been involved in the transaction.
Yes.
So where other places in the country, you might have 30, 45-day closing time, like escrow times. We can often go from up to 120 days.
Yes.
No problem.
To close a transaction.
To close from verbal accepted offer through the contract to
Yep.
close, easily 120 days, if not more.
Yeah. There's people in California right now that are like this one.
Yeah, exactly. So when you realize oh man, I got that mortgage payment or whatever, I'll just do a couple more deals. We don't have that luxury. So we have to plan. What I've realized, having people on the team that don't have our last name, that aren't related to us, is that sometimes it's not enough, especially by the time you get the paycheck. It was like, what was that for again? Because you've already moved on psychologically.
Yep.
Is you have to have crumbs along the way that you plant for yourself. So let's say it's prospecting time. There are certain techniques you can use. Like, let's say you love chocolate. My father, we trying to get him to stop eating chocolate because it's not good for him, but it's like, all right, you want that piece of chocolate? You can have it, but first you got to call 10 people that you did business with last year. You know what I mean? And once you do that, it's that you want to. I was listening to a podcast recently where one person was saying, they have a set list that they play on Spotify.
Yes.
They can only listen to that set list when they're doing the task that needs to be crushed.
Yes.
So and I guess the point
you're
is
gamifying.
You're gamifying, right?
Little reward, consequence.
Right. It's because, obviously the thing that motivates us the most is the paycheck at the end of the day, but you have to plant these crumbs along the way just to keep you motivated in the moment.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? When you hear a 120-day pipeline, and Scott, kind of same thing, like any advice to the person that maybe says 60, 90-day pipeline or a 30-day pipeline and they miss their calls?
So they're in a different market.
Yeah.
This is going to be the same. If you stop making calls for 30 days later, 60 days later, our average is 45 to 60, you're out of business. You're out of business and nobody told you, I believe is the language you use. So, and it comes to also asking the right questions and getting to the motivation when the market shifts a little more, where you talked about probate leads, for sale by owners, expires. These people all have a want or a need to sell.
Yeah.
So if you go deeper and get to the ones that are the most motivated, that's the people to spend your time with trying to convert. There is no question.
Love it. So Scott, what about yourself? I mean, you're a veteran of this business. You've grown this tremendous business. I would hope that you talk a little bit about health and vitality. Just saying. What's your most important fourth quarter advice for everybody watching now?
I would say you have to recommit to your calendar. If you haven't ever committed to it, commit to it. To me personally, I start with a 5 a.m. call every single day.
Yes.
And with that, it's about getting ahead of my day, getting everything organized, because if I don't do that, then the rest of the day, it just seems to be up in the air.
Yeah.
After that, I follow that up with usually a Peloton bike ride against some people, crushing them.
Yes. I think he's referring to all of us, is basically what he's saying. Now, but so let's talk about this. We've all had this conversation that there is this connection between health and vitality and our success, health and vitality and our energy, the health and vitality and our ability to go out and do what it is that we do. You weren't always this way. You've like transformed over the last 4 or 5 years, and now like you're the Peloton guy in our world. So what was that switch for you that got you on the path, and what was the result?
It was really me talking to a doctor saying you got to do something or else you're going to die.
Funny how that gets us motivated.
It is.
Yeah.
And
It's that simple?
Pretty much. I love life, my family.
Yeah. 10 and 12-year-old, right? Kids, all that stuff matters. So do me a favor and go very tactically. People love this, Scott. Many Tom Ferry shows where I literally will just write up on the wall and say, here's the schedule you should follow. 30,000 views, 40,000 views. Share your schedule.
My schedule is 5 o'clock. We have the 5 a.m. call.
But what time do you get up?
3:30.
Okay, that was the key. It wasn't like you didn't just wake up at 5 and go, hey, welcome to the 5 a.m. call. Here we go. So 3:30.
So 3:30.
There's a 3:30 twice a day?
Well, that's what, 15:30?
Yeah.
So it's
AM, PM, got it. So go.
So wake up at 3:30, then I'll look at some emails while I'm waiting for the 5 o'clock call. We do the 5 o'clock call. After that, I'll get on the Peloton. Then usually I'm in the shower. I spend some time with the kids before they go to school. Then I head to the office.
And what happens? Just walk through just a simple day.
At that point, usually prospecting time and setting appointments is from, I would say, 8 to 9:30 to 10. And then after that is all appointments throughout the day.
Awesome. Now, when someone hears that, they're 3:30 in the morning. Right, I get up at 4:45 and I'm now feeling like a candy ass.
Mark Wahlberg gets up at 3 a.m.
Okay, speak to that. If you're not following Mark Wahlberg, by the way, on Instagram, would you guys agree?
Yes,
you
yes,
absolutely
for
have, because when he did his schedule, I was like, I need to step it up.
Yeah.
So what time do you go to bed?
Usually 9:30, 10.
Okay, so so you're still getting a reasonable number of hours in, and when you hit bed, are you like fidgety or are you out?
30 seconds or less, I'm out.
Yeah, love it. When you hear that, JD, what do you think?
Like you said, I'm a candy ass. I'm getting up at 6 a.m. I feel like,
should I surf today? Is the weather good? But I want to give you the contrast where, not everybody's getting up at 3:30 a.m., but we all admire that level of dedication and commitment and what it means. So 6-ish, what's a typical day look like for you schedule-wise? I'm asking the same question.
So 6 a.m. I'm up, same thing. Like I'm trying to take some of the things that I've learned from being in this community and slowly but surely try to introduce them to my kids in a way that they can swallow it. So the morning routine is really, really important to me for them. I'm making their lunch. My son Mateo's getting the snacks together for their lunches, and it's kind of like trying to make it a team thing. I try to keep it positive, and try to have them envision hopefully a positive day at school. So that's really important to me before they go off on the bus, and then I'm in the office by really because one of them gets on the bus. I'm in the office around 9 a.m.
Okay.
So again, I feel like a little bit of a candy
Hey,
but,
everybody's got a different schedule. It's all good.
but I'm also more of a night person. So I go to bed like 11, which is early for me now. I used to go to bed like 1:30 because I was up like always like tinkering and I couldn't get my brain to stop working. I've got that sorted out a little bit better. I go to bed 10:30, and then so the day is just really filled with what's that book? The 4 disciplines.
4 disciplines of execution.
Of execution.
KPIs, scoreboarding, accountability, and wildly important goal.
That was game changing for me because I accepted the fact that there was a whirlwind, and I didn't try to solve for the whirlwind. I was like, okay, there's a whirlwind, but if I can get 10 to 20% of my day to work on the new things and the things that have to be done to implement, like the new marketing strategy, the campaign. Yes. I have to, and I'm now saying this out loud. So
it sounds like an on Tom Ferry show, public accountability.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I just had a coaching call, and like I have to add 2 people by the end of this quarter to my team. Yep. And so right there, I mean, but part of my day is because I have to talk to maybe 10, 12 people to get to one person that would really fit our culture and be able to, meet the goals that we would set for them and that they would set for themselves.
Got it. Hey, if everybody watching this wants to send you guys an email, is that okay?
Yeah.
Let's just put right across each of their email addresses so they can reach out if they want to go deeper and ask a question.
Sure.
Let's not talk about schedule. Let's wrap with this. Most important thing was, you got to fill your funnel, right? You kind of followed up with that, right? And then talked a little operational. You talked about, adding multiple different pillars and then following your schedule and really committing to it. For the person that's watching this that is down in the dumps, is there any mindset, any shift that you would recommend, or a book or an idea or a concept that maybe has worked for you? And maybe it's the Peloton bike, because we know how you feel impacts how you think. What is it for you that gets your mindset right?
So journaling, like I've heard this in so many coaching things, and I'm like, this is nonsense, this is stupid. So when you actually do it, 3 things you're grateful for, 2 ways today is going to be great in the morning. Yeah. Then when you're done in the evening, 3 things that make today awesome, 2 things that you're grateful for, and a couple things that maybe could have gone a little better that you want to improve on. That will work if you commit to it. But you got to do it. You have to do it every day, and you have to write it down or type it, however you're going to do it. But that is going to not only change you, but it's going to change the people around you.
Yes.
No question.
That's powerful.
I would say be careful. First and foremost, be careful who you spend your time with, especially the most amount of your time. I mean, if you've got family, I work with family. Trust me, it's it can be complicated at times.
Yes.
But if you have the choice, choose to be around people that have more energy, that share your values, that have, even if they're not in the same industry, but have goals of getting better, rather than falling back on gossip and what's happening in the news. I would also add to that there's voices that you also sometimes have to deal with in your head, and over the years, I've managed to get better at that as well. And it came down to one thing. The voices were there, but I just put my head down and I did it anyway. And it sounds like so simple, but it's actually hard to do. But once you do it, you gain like a muscle. Your muscle, it is like a muscle. You get a little bit stronger each time. Tactically, just because you look back, that's the other thing. Very often in the moment, you don't realize the progress that you're making. Very often it is in the hindsight when you look back and you're like, well, last year we did 50 transactions. Now we're at 86. Now we're going to be at 110. But in it, like, again, my coach the other day was like, are you kidding me? Like, you should be happy. Why are you, and even then I have to remind myself. So that would be my...
Maybe that journaling exercise.
That journaling, yeah. But at the very least, keep your head down and keep doing the do, because it will come back, and and then you'll feel better about everything.
Love it. Scott, close it out.
So I would say life is really 10% what happens to you, and then it's 90% how you react to it. Mm-hmm. Bad things happen to good people. With me, my wife hates it that if something happens to me that's horrible, I have the 5-second funeral. Yeah. And that's over and done with.
You 5-second funeral. I know the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins, who I love. What is the 5-second funeral?
You mourn whatever it is for 5 seconds and just move on.
So simple.
Me, I'm just trying not to bring it home to my family. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I already left that like
5 seconds
hours ago.
And that could be a closing, a deal that went wrong, someone that got upset. You know, life happens, right?
That's it.
Life happens. So simple, guys, and yet so powerful. I mean, between you guys, 300, 100, and 250, we're talking about, I don't know what that is, 500, 600 transactions. A lot of wisdom, guys, and I thank you guys. I thank you for being in our community, our ecosystem, for being such a positive voice for so many people and how you contribute to so many people. So thank you guys. So we're wrapping it up. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I can't wait to see the questions in the comments. Make sure we link up their emails. And if you guys want to ask some questions, I would fire away. Remember, they're super busy, so they're probably not just sitting there ready to respond unless it's a lead. And then they're really paying attention. All right, guys, thank you so much. It's the fourth quarter. It's go time. Hey, it's Coach Tom Ferry. Have you been considering hiring a coach? If so, click the link below and check out what we do.